Hi guys, it's Annie Noodle here from Three Cat Alarm Studio, and I have a rabbat that I painted as part of Justin Gerard's Let's Draw Monsters, which is a community paint-along event. This is actually a redo of the very first Let's Draw Monsters, so yeah, I will post the finished piece in this one, and I will also bring in the comparison so you can see, hey, 2 years ago, which is when the first Let's Draw Monsters happened, so when the first Rabbat was made, what did I do then? And how have I improved? I haven't actually pulled that out yet, so I'm really curious to see too. So yeah, paint along, comparison, community event. All awesome things. I will have links to Justin's info in the description below. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing I had to do was decide how I was going to paint this so that I could figure out what colors I wanted to use because I want to do an underpainting. So I think, okay, so this is going to be a moon. So this will be a cool yellow. So I probably want the bun, the rabbat, to be warm. Yeah, so I think I'll do a warm undercoat on Bun Bun here. Especially like having red in the wings, maybe, like to have it look like the light's coming through them. That would be fun. If I can pull that off, we'll see. So we're going for warm colors in the bun, cool colors in the background. I'm not actually even sure if I'm going to do a sky or not, or if I'm just going to do little stars and things, and this will just be left white. That will be partially decided by if I can paint an entire painting without accidentally blobbing weird paints and whatever outside of my zone that I'm trying to paint in. Yeah. All right, let's go. All right. I found my towel. Guys, you know how important towels are. If you've ever read The Hitchhiker's Guide, you know exactly how important it is to know where your towel is. All right, oh my gosh, I'm doing a red underpainting. This is such a bad idea. I think it's going to be really fun though at the end. So I also think I might need to find a different brush. I think this one might have died at some point in my recent history. I am having a heck of a time getting a fine point out of it. All right, it's time for voiceover, Annie. So, I mean, the beginning of a painting is both really exciting and really stressful, right? Because it just feels like there are so many more avenues in which it could go wrong right at the beginning before you start really settling back into painting. Even if you're already warmed up, I feel like it's always just like you start off a new piece and you're kind of holding your breath to see how the first part's going to go. And then you start getting more settled in and you start feeling more comfortable and confident with your brush strokes. The unfortunate thing is in like this case, I was fighting my brushes and I felt like I was fighting the paper I was using. Just having like the darndest time starting to like trying to get like that feeling of comfort that I usually have when I'm working on a piece by this point. Like it's usually just like, well, a few minutes in and now I feel like, okay, this is my zone, so I'm okay here. And like I just felt like I was fighting everything for a good part of this painting. I just don't know why. So this that I'm working on is still the underpainting. So you're gonna see this kind of shining through a bit, but like it's not gonna be the main color. And it's really hard. It was really hard to do a red underpainting because it was hard to keep in mind that I was trying to put in the darks instead of the lights because lights can be just red. So here I am just trying to put in the darks and keep in mind the contour of the wing so that when you see the final painting, you still get a sense that that part of the wing bends inward. Yeah. Honestly, the hardest part was just trying to remember that I was painting the darkest areas, not the lightest areas. Trying to actually leave white paper showing through. I am really kind of bad at that, even though it's like one of the best things about watercolor is letting the white of the paper show through. Yeah, I end up just washing stuff so much. This color red is from my Mission Gold single pigment set, which I have talked about a lot, and I just want to continue to say I really love using it. Um, this particular color is Permanent Red Deep. It's PR251. Yeah. So in here I'm starting to do more of the outlines around the rest of the bun. And I'm really trying to remember to vary my line widths because that really can add a lot of feeling of movement and feeling of volume to your finished piece. And it helps really kind of draw the eye to what you want it drawn to as well. So I'm really trying to keep those things in mind also as I'm painting here, which again was made a lot harder because my brushes, I think I was using not the best brushes for this until I switched out to my Rosemary's. All right, so my brushes have been fighting me. So I'm busting out my Rosemary. I just opened this one. It's a brand new brush. It's brand new. Yep, and this is a sable. I got their botanical set, and their brushes are really nice. I would honestly probably get more of them if I didn't have to order them from overseas. For all I know, that's changed now. I honestly haven't checked in a really long time, so... Oh, look, I have a cat hair on me. So I'm painting on Arches hot press, and I don't think this is that old, but like my paint seems to be reacting really strangely. I hope it's just that I haven't painted on Arches for a while, so I mean, like I don't even think I've had this pad a year. I don't think it should go bad that fast, so I hope I'm just imagining things. I kind of really want to try it out though. I want to do a wash somewhere. Maybe I'll do a little wash here and just see what the paint acts like when I do a wash. Because I've had paper with the sizing go bad and it acts like this, and wow, do I really hope I didn't just start painting on my last piece of Arches hot press and it turns out the sizing is bad. Yep, okay, now I'm really nervous, so we're gonna do a test. Okay, so once you start busting out the Rosemary set, you just keep on with the Rosemary set. So this is a number 4. Cat's tongue. Isn't it so tiny? Or maybe I just have really giant hands. Woo! Okay, no, I'm just kidding. It's tiny. We're gonna do a little bit of a test right there. Honestly, it'll be pretty evident, like, if there's something wrong with the paper the second I get it wet. But I'm still gonna... We're gonna put some watercolor on here and see what happens. Okay. All right, well, I think we're okay. I don't know why it's beating up here. Like this, the like his little ruff looks almost like I hit it with a Sharpie. Um, but it's fine down here, so I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna keep on plugging. So I don't think I ever actually figured out why it felt weird to be painting on this paper. The only thing I could think of is that I haven't used these paints on this paper before, and that can make a difference. I want to say that Mission Gold has like a honey in it, like a honey-based, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it humectant? Anyways, so I think Mission Gold is one of the brands that has honey in it. So that might have just been it. Also, I'm trying to like, I know some people really don't like watching works when they're sped up. So for all of my videos, I generally try to have a mix of like real time because I think that's helpful in a lot of ways. And then like the zoomy fast stuff because I mean, obviously you can't watch me. I think I took like 4 hours painting this and nobody wants to sit through a 4 hour YouTube video. So I try to keep in like the coolest parts that I think are the coolest parts anyway in real time, like painting in the dainty little toes and like painting in the facial features and then kind of giving like a kind of real time, like here's how I do this other part and then do more of the zoomies when I'm like, yeah, I mean, you've seen me paint the wing now. You don't need me to like keep this real time for you. So yeah, let me, you know, if you have opinions on that, let me know in the comments if people really hate one way or the other. Like I said, I'm trying to do a split so that, I don't know, everybody gets a little bit of what they want, right? So apart from the wings, which you can see here, I am, trying to lay in some kind of definition. Really, I've just been outlining the rest of the figure. And now I'm going back and starting to lay in things that will give it form, like the shadow in the muscle on the leg, putting in the little hair strokes there because there will be a shadow there to denote the form of the muscle in the bunny leg. So trying to get some of that stuff in and then starting to add shadows to the rear leg to make it look less make it look more recessed. Like this is the back leg, so now it's in shadow. So in the it helps the foreleg come forward more, right? I hope that makes sense the way I'm saying it. And here you could tell too, like even in the shadow of the back leg, I'm trying to leave white spots open to add like a visual interest. You can see that in the top of his leg too. Just really trying to not just paint everything a solid color. It's really hard for me because like all of my childhood instincts say that I want to completely color things in a solid color. So I still have to fight against that when I'm painting. And I'm just adding more texture. And I will keep doing this. Like, I go over this painting several times just with this red, and we're still in the base coat phase. So this is the underpainting still. And I'm just kind of adding in texture and shadow and trying to add shadowy form shapes like I am with the forearm there and with along the ribs there. Just trying to add shadows to give the bun form. So at this point, I'm looking at this. When I was painting this, I was like so happy with how things looked. And I like the finished piece. I have no problems at all with the finished piece. I really think that the rabbat turned out very well. Um, but Usually I have a really bad ugly phase, and I feel like this painting kind of skipped that. I like having this underpainting here, I was so happy with how it was looking, and when I started adding more layers on top of this, which we'll get there eventually, I was still really happy with how it was looking. Yeah. So that was surprising for me. That doesn't usually happen. There was, okay. I mean, like, when I start adding in, like, the, the local colors on top of this undercoat, I do freak out a little bit in my head. But it was really just like a few minutes, and it never actually looks bad. It's just like that mental kind of terror that you're screwing everything up that you like about the piece that you're working on, that I'm pretty sure every single artist goes through with like every single piece that they work on always throughout their whole career. I I really love doing the line art around a piece. I think it's the like yeah. I know I say this all the time too, but I love watching people paint line art. I love painting line art. Yeah, it's just really satisfying to me. So I always try to leave as much in as I feel like I can get away with. So there are his cute little bat bun ears. And then I start working on the other wing, trying to get the shadows and the form of that defined a little bit with the underpainting. It is hard to talk through a whole video like this. I know a lot of people do music in the background when they're not talking, and I think my volume levels will get messed up. Like, I don't like watching other people's videos when like they talk and I turn up the volume so I can hear them, and then the music comes up out of the background and it's so loud I have to turn the volume down. So that might just be me being overly sensitive about sound and like volume levels, but I just don't like it. So I like, unless a lot of people really complain, I'm probably not going to put music in my videos anymore. I think I only did it once, and the process was also kind of annoying because I do everything on my phone and I'm still working on moving over to my laptop. So maybe once that happens, I will start doing more music in my background again. 3-0. Meow. Teeny. So I busted out the tiny liner for this because I wanted there to be visible lines on the inside of the contoury parts of the bat ears. Because I feel like that's a thing that happens in bat ears, is you can kind of see the little lines in there like that. And the brush I was using was just a little bit too big to do that quickly. And yeah, this is still all just the underpainting phase, trying to get the shadows really nailed down. Um, yeah, and I don't know, I think it's better to spend a long time kind of on the doing the prep work, which is kind of what this underpainting is, right? It's the prep work. So I think it's okay to spend a long time doing that, because if you have a really solid foundation to work from, the layers on top of this went really fast. So, because really all the work is already done here. And that's kind of why I'm leaving a lot of it in, just to be like, here's how much effort I put in to what is just the underpainting, the layer that you really don't see much of at all. Yeah, because this is the kind of questions that I have of other artists. Like, how long do you spend doing the underpainting? How long does it take you to work up a really solid pencil sketch? How long do you spend doing this? What does your underpainting look like? And so now you see, I have started going in with a darker color. I think I used, yeah, purple here. Like an indigo almost, maybe. I honestly can't remember. I'm sorry. It's a purple. Um, And this is to me still the underpainting. I am still just going in on the places that I want to be really dark and just kind of covering over most of the red, but trying to leave some visible still, and going over all of the line art that I want to be in like more of a shadow or more heavier feeling. And I think I eventually just go over the whole thing because it started to feel odd. I mean, all the line art. I don't cover all the red. Like, even if you did, it would still, you could, because it's watercolor, you could still definitely feel the red through the purple. Like, it changes the quality of the purple, right? So, but yeah, I'm just going through now with this purple and kind of, yeah, reinforcing the ideas from the red, basically. And this is still, to me, an undercoat, like I said. And so now this layer is a little bit trickier because now I want to leave white space and red open. So I'm trying to be careful with my strokes and how the overall image looks and just taking my time, even though it's hard to tell that here. Just taking my time as I'm putting this purple layer down to really keep in mind what I want the finished rabbat to look like. Like, where do I want there to be the darkest darks? Where do I want there to be red showing through? Where do I want there to be white showing through? What still needs more definition as far as form goes? These are the things that I'm thinking about. It's really weird to be at this point, and oh yeah, you can kind of see the overall now as I'm starting to do. This is no longer undercoat to me. This is kind of more where I want him to be when he's done, is this kind of pinky layer. I'm doing a wash. I'm trying to like keep it very translucent because I want the wings to look translucent when they're fully finished. And because I want them to have this kind of vibe like the light's coming through, I'm also dabbing in yellow into my wash. And again, still trying to keep white areas open, which is like my nemesis. I'm so bad at it. And I actually did successfully leave white paper on this image on the main figure itself. Yeah. And I really, like I said, these these final layers, they went so fast after doing all that work on the underpainting. All right, so here's where I started laying down neutral tint. And the whole idea is that like I wanted to work up to this point where I was putting gray on top. I wanted it to be a gray rabbit. And all of the other color work and prep are just like trying to get me to a place where I feel like the color won't be boring. The shadow, there's where I had to fight an epic battle with cat hair. Um, I just wanted to get to a point where the color won't be boring, the shadows won't be boring. I'll still have white showing through, which I actually managed to do. Um, and I wanted to, but I wanted to still read as gray, which it does to me, but that's one of those things that it's really hard to say if it would to other people. And I'm sure to some people it's going to read as like, well, yeah, that's clearly a gray rabbit and it's clearly got wings with the light showing through. And like to other people, they're going to be like, no, that's clearly a like weird pink purple bunny thing. I don't know what's going on there. So I'm fine with either. I think he looks really cool at the end. So, but I'm just trying to go through here and make sure everything is getting to where I want it to be at the end, like kind of a grayish look with kind of interesting undertones and fewer cat hairs. So we're in the home stretch now, and I'm just putting these little kind of carrot greens behind these little kind of representative stars. I really had a lot of fun just painting the little kind of illustrative details on this. Yeah. I'm really glad. I was really tempted to just do something more landscapey in the background because I felt like that was the way to go. But I'm really glad that I fought against that. Yeah, being a little bit afraid of what you're trying to do in your artwork is a good thing, I think. Like, lets you know that you're pushing yourself to do things outside of your comfort zone, and that's how we grow as artists, right? Yeah, so, and here I'm just adding in the moon. So, starting with a cool yellow and adding in the most of the moon. And my cat just meowed really loud at you guys. It's not even feeding time. She's just chatty. And then dropping in some more kind of warm yellows to kind of serve as shadows on the moon. Yeah, which you don't want your background to totally not work with your foreground too, so having some warm colors in the moon is a good plan. I probably could have pushed that even farther and put more like a kind of a pink or a purple in the moon, but I don't know, I'm happy with where it landed, I think. Okay guys, I think I'm done. I've just been kind of fiddling around and putting little stars, little dot stars everywhere. I think I'm done for tonight at least. I might come back tomorrow and, oh, I should probably make his eye a little better. Okay, I'm not done. So, I know you probably can't tell what I just did. That's fine. But his eye was just a flat red color. I think it's done, and I should probably stop touching it because these little dots are probably actually not dry, and I'm probably on the verge of smearing one and like making myself actually cry because I really like how this turned out. Yeah. All right, I found my rabbat from 2 years ago, and this is pen and watercolor on toned paper. I love his face. I will say, I I definitely like my new one better. It's really interesting to see where I've come, and I know it's hard to compare them because, I mean, this is just watercolor, and this is ink, and it's on toned paper, and the styles are totally different. I will say that, like, these interesting lines in the background, I've actually just started trying to bring more line work back into my drawings. Like, that's why I really wanted to make this moon with like this kind of, I don't want to call it Art Nouveau, but this really graphic style of ring around it. And like, that's why I wanted to do these two, is because I really love that, and I want to bring it back into my art sometimes. Maybe not all the time, but anyway, so let me know which rabbat you liked better, 2020 version or 2022 version. Yeah, thanks guys.